What's up? This is Marwan, and today what I want to talk about is the conversational narcissist. So this is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about since sometime last year, and basically how it started is I actually went out on this date and went to this restaurant. So we started out and we had all this food. We had that chicken wings, we got the nachos, spinach dip, we got the cheese dips, we got the steak, we pretty much meet all the requirements that are required to have a date. You need the whole full setup to have a date. Otherwise it's not a real date. Then it's just a hangout. Now we're talking and we're conversing and we're getting to know each other and we're having that back and forth. But the thing is, what's happening is that she's doing all the talking. And I don't mean in a good way. I don't mean like she's so interested in me that she's just asking me question after question after question. No. She's just talking. She's just doing all the talking about herself the whole freaking time. Whenever I try to ask even a question, she just keeps going. And I was like, okay, like this isn't really going well. She's kind of talking about herself too much. She barely asks me any questions. And even when she does, it's like she just finds a way to bring it back to herself. It's like, do you do this thing? And I'm like, yeah, I do a little bit of that. And it's like, oh, okay, well, what I do is, and it just goes back to her and she keeps going. So I'm like, okay, like she's one of those girls. It's like, okay, she's one of those girls. So when I went back home and I was thinking, okay, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by one of those girls? Because I've had this situation before and I've never really been able to put it into words. I don't know if there's some psychological thing, something that I can associate with that. So I went on the Googles, I went on the searching, and I started doing some more searching, I started doing a lot of reading, and I didn't go on the Google search, no, I went on that Google Scholar shit, you know what I mean? Like I went deep into the studies, stuff from the like 1900s, going into like psychological databases and all this stuff, and I found this concept of the conversational narcissist. And basically they're people that just love talking about themselves all the time, and they don't see conversations as a 50-50 where it's like both people are, whether it's getting to know each other, both people talking about their day. It's more like, okay, here's what I experienced, here's what's going on in my life, here's why I'm so interesting. And so what you realize about these types of people is that they have this like very high level self-importance, like they see themselves as very important people. So what happens is whenever you're talking to someone with that like conversational narcissism characteristics, they will just be able to relate any single thing that you can come up with to themselves. Like whether it's something that you recently experienced, something that you're trying out, something that you're recently doing, with some event that you went to, they'll just find a way to relate it to themselves and they'll bring the conversation back to themselves. So what I like to do is I like to look at someone that does that and think, okay, what can I do to avoid that? What can I do to avoid that kind of like conversational narcissism? And I find myself doing that every now and then when I go on like very long rants about certain topics, certain subjects. So what I will just say in the moment is say something like, okay, I feel like I'm talking way too much about myself, or something along those lines, and kind of gauging the other person's reaction and seeing what they will respond to. Maybe they just want to listen to me rant. Maybe they actually want to kind of jive in. Maybe they just want to chime in and kind of see, give their own perspective, but maybe I'm not giving them enough space to do so. So it's good to actually be aware of that stuff. And some people are aware of it, but they won't bother dealing with it. They won't actually bother making any changes. They'll kind of just admit that, oh, I feel like I'm talking way too much about myself, but they won't actually say anything or do anything that addresses that. So that's pretty much what I want to talk about today, the topic of the conversational narcissist. And on that note, until next time.